This video will explore my own educational ideologies. These are based on what I have learnt from this Education Studies module Vision to Reality and my own educational experience at secondary school, sixth form and on placement where I have been able to act as a different role in the classroom. My educational ideology is a package of educational ideas about the formal arrangements of education. Apple suggests that ideology refers to a system of ideas, beliefs, fundamental commitments or values about reality. Essentially, everyone will have different beliefs about how an education should work best it possibly can for a child. One key thinker that has opened up my beliefs about romantic ideologies around education is Pestalozzi. I believe in a curriculum that has a balance of the arts and practical skills. I take on a child-centred view of education, which is why my ideology fits in perfectly with the likes of a Montessori school. Montessori recognised that childhood was a specific state of being and that classroom activities are central to children's construction of their own identities. Education is all about the child and his or her development. Some shared focuses of both mine and Montessori's ideologies are the state and peace and fulfilment after completing a task, building the respect and the teacher as a role model, and the student's self-discipline and will. Helping students reach and achieve the sense of fulfilment is not only rewarding for both parties, but is also helping build a strong will in students, creating a strive to do better for themselves and to always improve themselves. It's the teacher's job to facilitate learning. As stated by Bates, the ultimate goal of Montessori's system is self-discipline, which is arguably one of the most important things we can teach to students, because with self-discipline they can achieve anything. It is also important for me to become the best role model for any children I work with in the future. I aim to create a strong will in them to always strive for self-improvement. As a coach, I found this helped create a strong, trusting relationship between me and gymnasts. It's important to create self-discipline in this scenario, as well as a strong will in order to see improvements which will in turn help them reach the sense of fulfilment that will encourage them to repeat the cycle and develop further. A child's learning revolves around the head, heart and hands. Steiner has helped me create my ideology by demonstrating the importance of intellect, spirit and body. This dedication to teaching the whole child is what appeals to many aspiring teachers and parents and people like myself. As mentioned before, education is a lot more than just acquiring intellectual knowledge. It's about developing and strengthening the will. This is done by purposefully not entering or classifying children in ranks of orders or ability. Children should compete against themselves and not each other. Diversity is key in producing respectful students who respect people from a range of cultures and multiple races. This is accomplished by integrating the curriculum with the study of religions and cultures and studying foreign languages. Promoting diversity is something important to me, and I will create an inclusive atmosphere to establish the proper ethos in any children I may work with, which will prepare them for later life. I believe that childhood should be valued and not interfered with. Child-initiated free play is the best way for children to self-educate through exploration and imagination. It is a way for them to learn about the world and for them to become confident. I think that entering into education at the age of 7 gives children enough time to be children and learn through play before they enter a slightly more structured world. Informal learning occurs even without you noticing. It has been described as an area of study which at times seems to suffer from being so ordinary, so everyday, indeed so downright obvious that we may forget its importance. An example of informal learning could be a child sat at home watching an arts and crafts TV show and learning how to make a hat for her mother. Like any approach, this approach of informal learning leaves out just as much as it includes. This is why I believe that in my ideal classroom, learning experiences will be both formal and informal, a mix of both. Even though it's hard to quantify, it is still valid because it is still helping children to learn about the world around them, and learning is a never-ending process. Just because there is no accreditation at the end and you don't get graded doesn't mean that the experience isn't valuable. We never forget learning experiences such as when our parents read to us and we learn a new word. To conclude informal learning, I believe that it enhances formal learning and should be used where possible. I would find it very difficult to hold an entirely informal lesson with no structure and without guidance from something such as the curriculum. However, for example, if I was teaching a lesson about African drumming and there was an opportunity for an expert in the area to come and take my class for an hour to demonstrate and involve them to take part in active learning, it would be strange for me not to take it. This experience would involve and enhance the learning in the classroom. Teaching should encourage exploration, independence, courage and discipline. The students should learn valuable skills without the pressure of attaining grades. Although attainment is valuable, children should be able to have more freedom to make mistakes and learn from them themselves. Ideologies change through time. This might be through reassessment of what works and what doesn't work. An example of this is the Cambridge Primary Review Trust. Robin Alexander is a key thinker involved in this that has helped rebuild my educational ideology. According to Alexander, among other things, a good teacher encourages children to become autonomous learners, stimulates creativity and imagination, and uses exciting and varied approaches. For me, it is important for the children to become part of the teaching too. The common strand, and it should be closely heeded, is that children want and need to know what they are doing and why, to be brought inside the thinking that informs the teacher's decisions on their behalf. Children too are interested in pedagogy. Nowadays, English children spend longer in schools, with recent policies promoting an early age of starting school, and the availability of breakfast clubs have also arisen. Breakfast clubs and after-school clubs. The introduction of published league tables and competition between schools has also arisen. As a result, I feel that children are pushed to do too much too young. Availability of space for children to play, both inside and outside in schools, is important because it allows a safe place for children to interact and exercise their imaginations. Creative subjects are crucial in the curriculum. They increase self-knowledge and self-esteem and help children actively engage with each other when tackling problems. My ideas on education are all child-centred. I believe that children need to be children and, importantly, fully developed children before they are subjected to the pressures of exams. I believe that I can be a good teacher by making the learning an actively engaging process and mixing formal learning with informal learning. Child-initiated play should be observed and not interfered with, and this also applies to when children are concentrating on a task. The ultimate goal is for me to create self-discipline and high will in the children I influence. To quote Sir Ken Robinson, the problem with human society is not that we aim too high and fail, but that we aim too low and succeed.